Hi everybody, we are covering bands and artists that are amazing that have never hit a #1 single on the US Billboard charts. Can you believe it? Let's get into it. We're number two. We're number two. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sue.
I'm Chelsea.
And we are so glad that you could join us again. We are still doing We're Number 2 week. And we are so excited about another song. Are you ready for a Name That Tune?
I am.
Oh, she doesn't know who it's going to be.
I do
but we have been shocked and surprised over some of these artists that have never had a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart.
That doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
No.
Before we get started though, if you could like, share, and subscribe to our channel, we would greatly appreciate it. Ready?
Yes.
Let's do a Name That Tune. Chelsea, close your eyes.
All set.
Here we go. This artist has never had a #1 song on the Billboard singles charts. Here we go.
Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bumps of dime in your prime. Then people call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you.
Well,
Okay, I think I know the song.
okay, what's the song?
Is it Changes?
No, that's David Bowie you're thinking of.
Wow.
No, but
I thought I
it's
had it.
interesting. Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone.
Like a Rolling Stone.
Arguably
Got
one of
it.
the best songwriters in modern pop music.
Never had?
Never has
Really?
had a #1 song.
Wow.
Isn't that
Wow.
it's shocking?
I thought there was Changes.
I can see why you think that. There were a few little
It
things
was
in
very
there.
similar melody and tempo.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
thought the voice might give it away for you, though. I thought the voice might give it away.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it at
No.
all.
Well, anyway, Bob Dylan.
Bob
You, of
Dylan.
course, know Like a Rolling Stone.
Of course,
and
absolutely.
Of course, we know Bob Dylan. Shock again,
Wow.
right? All right,
Wow.
let's...
Even on this album. Wow.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
You used to laugh about everybody that was hanging out. Now you don't talk so loud. Now you don't seem so proud about having to be scrounging your next meal. How does it feel? How does it feel to be without a home? Like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone. Oh, you've gone to the finest school, all right, Miss Lonely, but you know you only used to get juiced in it. Nobody's ever taught you how to live out on the street, and now you're gonna have to get used to it. You say you never compromise with a mystery tramp, but now you realize he's not selling any alibis as you stare into the vacuum of his eyes and say, do you want to make a deal? How does it feel? How does it feel to be on your own with no direction home? A complete unknown, like a rolling stone.
notice about this song that I've actually never heard before, and maybe it's because I have the earpiece right in my ear, is in the background underneath the whole song, how much piano is going on in this song. And it almost has kind of a ragtime kind of feel to it. It's actually quite fast and choppy.
Yeah.
Right? Where the rest of it seems very slow and kind of mellow, but that piano is really like
it's moving.
It's moving fast.
Yeah.
And they're banging on it.
The one thing I noticed about this is that I've never really noticed is that there are times where he's singing where he's singing the melody and it's or the verse, and it just sounds like he's telling a story. Like there aren't specific notes to it. It's just like, this is my story. Yeah. I'll hit a note every once in a while, but then it gets to the chorus and you can hear the music, but it just sounds like he's telling a story.
So he's telling the story over top of this music that we're hearing almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
really cool song.
That's almost incidental then.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And then of course then you get to the melody of the chorus part when he's singing with it.
It seems like he's singing more during the chorus.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually that's a neat observation. That's true. I've never thought about that.
I've never noticed it.
But he is a poet.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. So, I mean,
it would make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
You never turned around to see the frowns on the jugglers and the clowns when they all did tricks for you. Understood that it ain't no good. You shouldn't let other people get your kicks for you. Yeah. You used to ride on a chrome horse with your diplomat, who carried on his shoulder a Siamese cat. Ain't it hard when you discover that he really wasn't where it's at? After he took from you everything he could steal. How does it feel? How does it feel to have you on your own with no direction home, like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone? Princess on the steeple and all the pretty people, they all drinking, thinking that they got it made, exchanging all precious gifts. But you better take your diamond ring, you better pawn it, babe. You used to be so amused at Napoleon in rags and the language that he used. Go to him now, he calls you, you can't refuse. When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. You're invisible now, you got no secrets to conceal. How does it feel? How does it feel to be on your own with no direction home, like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone?
I love the harmonica.
Yeah, I know, me too. I wanted more of it.
I wish
So
I actually wish there would have been more harmonica in that throughout the whole thing. It's like, in the Neil Young songs, when they have the harmonica like that. It's very similar sounding.
Yeah.
And I guess they would have come out of that same kind of folk era.
Probably. Right? Well, yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, obviously, Bob Dylan was, the king, and he was there first. But
Yeah.
but I think that's where Neil Young would have got some of his inspiration
Yeah.
for his folk music. Now, interestingly, when I was listening to Bob Dylan sing, he really had almost a country twang to his voice. Did you find that at all?
No, I found something completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, but continue.
I found that there was a bit of a country twang to it. There's the way he said certain words, which is kind of funny considering he's a New Yorker. So it's not like somebody that you would think would have a twang to their voice. But there was just the way that he said certain things that it really sounded kind of twangish.
Interesting.
And not in a bad way, and it was a good way.
Yeah.
But the way he held some of his words, almost like a drawl, right? So
my observation was quite similar, because the way he held certain words. There are most singers, I would say majority of singers, when they're finishing a sentence with a certain word, most would prefer for that word to be an open vowel, like an open consonant, open vowel.
And what does that sound like?
But just because, the example with Bob Dylan here was steal, right?
Oh yeah.
If the last word of your sentence is steal, most singers would be steal, right?
Right.
His is steal. He closes it so quickly,
Okay.
but he's made an art out of it. Like
I can see that. And maybe that's where I thought the twang was coming from.
maybe,
Because some of it's clipped.
yeah,
It's a little clipped.
he would close his vowels, as opposed to enunciating the EA of the steal. He would enunciate the L.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
It's better for a vocalist to remain open, because
More sound?
more sound, more power. When you close it so much, it's not as pleasing to the ear, but it's not as easily sustainable.
Now, would he be doing something like that perhaps because he's not a really strong singer?
Maybe.
And maybe that was his way of
There are a
trying
lot
to
of-
close stuff off?
There are a lot of not really strong singers who have been incredibly successful.
Well, and Bob Dylan
It's just their style, right?
right. He's an example of that for
Yeah.
sure. He's
You don't have to
he's
be
a decent singer, but he's not
Yeah.
a great singer.
You don't have to be a classically trained singer by any means to be successful.
Oh, there's lots
That's
of
why
lots
we
of
have
people.
so many different sounds out there, which is fantastic, right?
Oh, 100%.
But he, in particular, he closes a lot
That's
of his
really
a lot of
interesting.
his words, which I never really noticed until just listening to this right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny that we have both heard this song numerous times, obviously, in our life, but we found different things. So it's funny how when you go back and review songs, how you actually find new things that you didn't know. Like for me, I was talking about the piano.
Yeah.
And I couldn't not hear it after a while.
Yeah.
And I always thought of this song as a simple song that maybe had like acoustic guitar and maybe
Harmonica.
a little harmonica in
Yeah.
it. But I didn't realize the extent of that piano, and it was actually complicated. It wasn't just a little plunking around.
No.
It was a complicated
Exactly.
piano.
I'm sure some of our viewers would come up with something that they've noticed.
Yeah.
Sorry about the cold, everybody.
It's going around.
It's going around, but I'm sure some of them would notice something else that we haven't even thought of.
Oh, I'm sure. So if you've noticed anything about that song that maybe you didn't know before, put it down in the comments. And if you like Bob Dylan and you'd like us to do more Bob Dylan, put that down in the comments as well. I still can't believe, though, that Bob Dylan has never had a number one hit on the
Especially this
Billboard
song. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
No.
So may as well go into the fun fact. This song was number 2. It made number 2, and it was the highest.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yes, it was his highest charting song.
Wow.
Some songs like Lay Lady Lay got to number 7. But I think he had 2 number 1 songs in his career, and that was it. Interestingly, though, he has actually won a Nobel Peace Prize.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan has won a Nobel Peace Prize for literature. He won it in 2016. Yeah, and it was for his contribution to the expression of poetic.
I remember this.
Yeah, and
I
how-
remember the announcement.
Yeah.
And he went to the ceremony.
No, he did not go.
Oh, I'm
no,
thinking of somebody else then.
he actually had something else going, so he actually didn't even go to Sweden for the presentation of.
Yeah.
He didn't go.
Okay, I'm
I
thinking
guess
of
until
somebody
the
else.
following April or something to pick up his award. But it was for poetic
Well-
expression in helping create the American, music, basically.
Somehow I think if I were contacted by the Nobel Committee, I think I'd move a few things around in my schedule
I think I would drop everything and
to be
go.
there.
Yeah,
Kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity.
yeah. And how many people actually win the Nobel Peace Prize?
He must have had something really, really, really important on his schedule that day.
Yep. Right? It had to be. I'm not sure what it was.
I think I'd move a few things around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would have been moving everything.
Let me just get back to you.
Yeah. So Nobel Prize for Literature.
Literature.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Anyway, this week continues to shock, and but it doesn't take away from any of the greatness of any of these artists, and Bob Dylan is no exception.
No exception.
Amazing, amazing artist.
Yeah.
So until next time, everybody have a joyful day, and we'll see you all again next time.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.